Hey everyone, this is Rocky from WeLearnChess.com, and I just wanted to add another line to the previous video on this 4 castles line for white in the Italian game. So we get these standard moves here, 2 knights defense, and then 4 castles. And the best move here is to take this pawn as black. If you haven't seen the previous video, then you should watch that first. This is just one additional line. One line that I didn't look at, well, we did look at bishop d5, knight f6 to hit the bishop, takes, rook e1, and black could put the bishop on d6 or c5. Probably here I'd put it on d6 just to add a little more, I don't want to say protection to the pawn, because we don't want to fight to keep this pawn. White can take that back if he wants, probably has to at some point. We just want to castle and get safe, and then we can play chess from there. But it will take white a little more effort to do this, to get this pawn back, so I think that is helpful. Plus, after white does take this pawn back and uses up a tempo, moving the same piece twice to do it, then he'll do us the favor of opening up this diagonal to the king. So f2 is weak, and h2 could also potentially be a target in the future. So I like bishop d6. Also, it's a protected square, so you avoid any potential tricks, although I don't think there are any. Okay, so here, if white wants to keep the initiative going, one move might look like it could be d4. And I actually saw this, but the reason I didn't include it in the previous video is because it was pretty clear to me that black has e4. And there's not really a lot that white can do. Okay, technically the white's not under attack because this pawn's pinned, but we're going to castle next. The reason I'm showing this now is because I figured that you might see it, because I think people with the white pieces might think that they're getting something out of this. Like, it would be pretty natural to pin this knight as a way to try to keep the initiative going, but you can just castle into this and feel very safe. Now this knight is under attack. If white takes it with the rook, because this knight is pinned, so it can't take right now, he immediately gets into trouble with h6. So asking white what he wants to do. Well, obviously the bishop can't just retreat, because then the rook would be under attack. So he either has to take, and if he takes, well, I don't see any reason to fear this position as black. I think that you have 2 bishops against 2 knights with a semi-open center. You're not down any material. You're not down any development. You're going to get your second bishop out, and then you're going to be able to connect your rooks and challenge the e-file. So I don't see any difficulties here for black. So I think a lot of people will be tempted to keep the pin, but here you have to play g5. And I know that this move's a little bit, well, it's a little tough to play this move, because I know I've gotten in trouble a lot playing g5 and to try to break the pin, but here there's a justification for it. I mean, if the bishop moves back, then this rook is hanging. So basically, black is forced to sacrifice. I think a lot of people will sacrifice this way to try and keep the pin. And it looks like maybe black is facing a little bit of something here. But I actually don't think that white has anything. Here actually you have a nice move as black, just getting your last minor piece out with tempo on the rook. And you're also going to be able to drop this bishop back for defensive purposes here, covering some important squares. So I'm not really quite sure what white could do here. I mean, he can't just move the rook over to attack this bishop, because you can just take it. If he tries queen f3, which feels, again, like a pretty natural move to try to keep the initiative going, you can actually just take this rook, because this is hitting the queen. So if he were to take this, and you take, he takes, and you take, and he takes, you're just up a piece, and white has a damaged pawn structure, so he doesn't even have 3 connected passers to try to create a passed pawn over here. Okay, he's got the outside passer, but it's going to be extremely hard for him to make anything out of that with your king already over on the side of the board and the extra rook. Plus, he hasn't even developed his only 2 pieces that are out, and your rooks are already connected, and your bishop's already out, ready to start putting some pressure on the position. Okay, so actually the sacrifice is probably better the other way around. But again, here there's really nothing for white. You can just take this off. And he probably just has to take this back. I mean, if he tries to bring the queen out anywhere, either to g4 or to h5, again, you can just take this. You can't trade queens, so probably has to take this, and then at the very least, you've got a tempo move. You've got potential checkmating things to look at. You're going to have the extra piece, the bishop pair, an attack on white's king. And this not only was free, but white had to sacrifice material to give you these pleasant advantages. So there's really nothing here in these lines once you play h6 and g5. And if you were to retreat anywhere, you're just going to take the rook. So so probably taking the pawn is no good, which means that he has to move the knight. And if he has to move the knight, probably h4 doesn't really do anything. Again, if you ever need to, you can always drop this bishop back to break the pin that way. I think the computer was suggesting when I looked at it to drop the knight back here, and if that's the best move, and he's got to block off his own knight, sort of has redundant knights here. And again, there's nothing here to show for this pin. You can bump the bishop once if you want. And let's say if the bishop were to go back, for example, you can even hit it immediately with the knight just to take off, to really have the bishop pair against no other bishop. Something like queen e2, and you can just play f5. And it's not just to protect this pawn, but you're even threatening to just barrel up the board with this f-pawn. And your bishops are pointing over here at the king side. Queen's pointing over here at the king side. Your rook's on now a semi-open file. The knight's already in attacking position. You're the one getting the attack, and white did all this for you, so you can politely thank him. So that's one more line, and again, the reason I didn't show it before was because it's even worse than the other lines for white, but I actually think it is maybe even more likely that you might see something like this because white might feel like he's getting an initiative. So definitely be prepared to fight back with these great lines. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you around.